You believe being kind makes people admire you. You believe being generous makes people appreciate you. You believe putting others first makes you a good person. But here's the harsh reality no one ever told you. The more you bend over backward for people, the more invisible you become. Every time you overgive, over-apologize, or let others walk all over you, you're silently telling the world, my needs don't matter. My time doesn't matter. I don't matter. And guess what? People believe you. They stop respecting you. They stop valuing you. They start using you. There are 5 specific kind habits that almost everyone thinks are virtuous, but in reality, they're psychological traps that strip away your power, weaken your confidence, and make people secretly lose respect for you. These aren't just bad habits, they're identity killers. And until you break free from them, you'll stay stuck in a cycle of resentment, exhaustion, and being everyone's emotional punching bag. But here's the good news. Once you stop doing these 5 things, everything changes. People will respect you more, treat you differently, and maybe for the first time in your life, see you as someone who matters. Fair warning though, some people are going to hate the new version of you. Why? Because you're no longer the easy-to-control, endlessly giving person they depended on. And that's exactly why you need to keep going. So let's dive into the 5 kind habits that secretly make you weak, starting with one you probably do every single day without realizing it. Habit number 1, seeking validation from people who don't care. You've been taught your whole life to be polite, agreeable, and likable. And because of that, you've probably fallen into this trap without even realizing it. You constantly seek approval from people who don't even care about you. You do little favors to win their attention. You adjust your opinions depending on who you're around. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny just to seem easygoing. And deep down, you hope that if you're good enough, they'll finally give you the respect you deserve. But here's the painful truth. Chasing validation doesn't make people like you. It makes them lose respect for you. Why? Because when you constantly try to prove yourself, you're broadcasting a silent message, I don't believe I'm valuable unless you approve of me. And people pick up on that instantly. Humans are wired to sense weakness. When you need someone's approval, they can feel it, and they'll use it to control you. They'll withhold compliments just to keep you chasing. They'll criticize you, knowing you'll bend over backward to change. They'll treat you like an extra, not a main character in their story. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius understood this centuries ago. He wrote, "The approval of others is a poor prize. Seek only the approval of your own mind." In other words, the moment you base your worth on other people's opinions, you've already lost control of your life. Think about it. When was the last time you said yes to something you didn't want to do just to avoid conflict? When was the last time you stayed silent when you should have spoken up because you didn't want to upset anyone? When was the last time you dressed, acted, or even thought a certain way just because you wanted to fit in? Every one of those moments is a tiny act of self-betrayal. You're teaching the world that your values, your beliefs, and your identity are negotiable, that you'll trade authenticity for a scrap of approval. And here's the most twisted part. The more you seek validation, the less you actually get it. Why? Because humans don't respect desperation. We respect confidence. When you stop begging for people's approval, they suddenly want to give it to you. But when you chase it like a starving dog, they run in the opposite direction. So what's the fix? You must build internal validation. That means making decisions based on your own principles, not on what others will think. It means saying, I like who I am, even if you don't. It means knowing your value before you walk into the room, instead of waiting for someone else to define it for you. Here's what happens when you stop chasing validation. At first, people will be shocked. They're used to you bending to their will. Then, some will get angry. They'll call you arrogant or selfish because you're no longer dancing for their approval. Finally, the right people, the ones who truly matter, will gravitate towards you because they can see your self-respect. Seeking validation isn't kindness. It's a chain around your neck, and the day you drop it is the day you become truly free. But internal validation is dangerous. There's another kind habit that's even more destructive, and it hides behind one of the simplest, most innocent words in the English language. Let's talk about the power-destroying habit of over-apologizing.
Habit number 2, over-apologizing for existing. Sorry. It's one of the first words we learn as kids. And if you were raised to be nice, you've probably said it thousands of times, often without even realizing it. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of your apologies aren't actually about being polite. They're about making yourself smaller so other people don't feel uncomfortable. Think about how you speak throughout the day. Sorry to bother you, but could I ask a quick question? Sorry, I don't mean to be a burden. Sorry. I think I might have said something wrong. Every time you say things like this, you're subconsciously telling people, my needs are a problem. My presence is a problem. I am a problem. And people believe you. When you constantly apologize for existing, you train the world to see you as less valuable. Your voice becomes background noise. Your boundaries become optional. Your identity fades into the background while everyone else takes center stage. The psychology behind this is brutal, but simple. Apologizing too much signals low confidence and low status. It tells people, I need your approval so badly that I'm willing to shrink myself just to keep the peace. But here's the twist. True strength comes from restraint, not from unnecessary apologies. Strong people don't apologize for having needs. They apologize when they've actually done something wrong. And only then. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who was born a slave and rose to become one of the most respected thinkers in history, understood this perfectly. He taught that our words shape our perception of ourselves. Every time you speak like you're unworthy, you reinforce that belief deep in your mind. And soon, you don't just say you're sorry, you live like you're sorry. Here's how over-apologizing silently destroys your life. 1. It erodes your self-respect. You begin to believe that you truly are a burden, even when you're not. 2. It gives manipulative people power over you. Some will deliberately make you feel guilty so they can control you. 3. It ruins your ability to set boundaries. Why would anyone respect your no when you seem to feel guilty for even saying it? Here's an example. Imagine a friend asks you to do a favor you don't have time for. Instead of simply saying, I can't help this time, you reply, I'm so sorry, I wish I could, but I have this thing going on and maybe next time, I promise. Do you see the problem? You just open the door for negotiation. Now they'll say, oh, you're busy? It'll only take a few minutes. Or, can't you move that thing around? This is really important. Your apology didn't make you kind. It made you vulnerable to persuasion. Here's how to fix it. 1. Replace unnecessary apologies with gratitude. Instead of saying, sorry for being late, say, thank you for waiting for me. 2. Pause before you speak. If you haven't actually done something wrong, don't apologize. 3. Practice standing firm. A simple, no, I can't do that, said calmly and confidently, is far more powerful than a long guilt-filled explanation. The first few times you do this, you'll feel uncomfortable. People might even accuse you of being rude or cold, but that's not because you're wrong. It's because they're used to you playing the role of the endlessly apologetic giver. Over-apologizing doesn't make you kind. It makes you invisible. And once you stop doing it, people will finally start to see and respect the real you. But there's another kind habit that drains your strength even faster, and it involves something we all crave but rarely get in return.
Habit number 3, giving without reciprocity. Let me ask you a hard question. How many people in your life actually give back to you at the same level you give to them? If you're like most people, the answer is very few. And yet you keep giving, giving, and giving, hoping that eventually they'll appreciate you and return the favor. But here's the dark truth most kind people don't want to admit. When you give without expecting reciprocity, you're not being selfless. You're training people to use you. Think about the pattern. There's always that friend who mysteriously forgets their wallet when the bill comes. The coworker who constantly needs your help but disappears when you ask for theirs. The relative who only calls when they need a ride, money, or a last-minute favor. And yet, every time, you step up because you think that being endlessly generous will eventually earn you love and respect.
It won't. In fact, it will do the opposite. Here's why. When you consistently give more than you receive, you create a power imbalance in the relationship. The other person stops seeing your generosity as a gift and starts seeing it as an obligation. They no longer appreciate your effort, they expect it. Over time, your kindness stops feeling special and starts feeling like a duty. And once that happens, they no longer view you as a person. You've become a resource, a tool to be used whenever they need something. The ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca warned about this very dynamic. He said, "An ungrateful mind sees no kindness." In other words, when people are conditioned to expect your help, they stop feeling thankful for it. Your generosity becomes invisible, and so do you. But here's where it gets even worse. When you finally hit your breaking point and stop giving, these same people will call you selfish. They'll make you feel guilty for simply having limits. Why? Because you've trained them to believe that your time, energy, and resources belong to them. This isn't just about money or favors. It's about self-worth. When you keep giving to people who never reciprocate, you're silently telling yourself, my needs matter less than theirs. And that belief eats away at your confidence like acid. Here's how to break free from this destructive cycle. Number 1. Start tracking who shows up for you. Make a mental note of who actually reciprocates your effort and who only takes. Number 2, match their energy, not their words. Stop believing promises, believe patterns. If someone's actions show they don't care, stop pouring into them. Number 3, set clear boundaries. When someone asks for help, pause before answering. If it drains you or feels one-sided, it's okay to say, I can't this time. This isn't about becoming cold or selfish. It's about balancing the scales. When you reserve your generosity for people who truly value it, two things happen. Your relationships become healthier because they're based on mutual respect, and your self-worth skyrockets because you're no longer giving pieces of yourself away for free. Giving is beautiful, but only when it's reciprocal. Otherwise, you're not being kind, you're being used. But as damaging as this habit is, there's another one that works even more subtly, and it often hides behind the mask of being a good listener. This next kindness trap drains your mental energy faster than anything else. Habit number 4, being everyone's emotional dumping ground. You probably think you're a good friend because you're always there for people. They call you at 2 a.m. and you pick up. They send you endless texts about their problems and you respond right away. You listen to hours of rants, complaints, and tears, and you never complain yourself. Sounds noble, right? Wrong. Here's the hard truth. Most of the people you help don't actually want solutions. They don't even want to change. They just want an audience for their drama. When you allow yourself to become everyone's free therapist, you're not actually helping them, and you're destroying yourself in the process. Here's how this plays out. Someone calls you crying about their toxic relationship. You listen patiently, offering comfort and advice. The next day, they're back with the same problem because they didn't follow a single word you said. But they did get what they wanted. Someone to absorb their negativity so they could feel a little better for a while. This is a psychological trap called emotional dumping. It's not real connection. It's transfer of pain. They unload their chaos onto you so they don't have to deal with it themselves. And now you're the one carrying the weight. And here's the part no one talks about. That negativity doesn't just disappear after the conversation. It seeps into your mind like poison. You start the day feeling good, then after a few phone calls or venting sessions, you're anxious, drained, and pessimistic, and you don't even know why. The Stoic philosopher Seneca warned against this exact dynamic when he said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." But if you spend your time being a sponge for other people's chaos, you can't possibly grow. You're too busy managing their breakdowns to build your own strength.
And here's the most dangerous part. The people who dump on you never stop. Why would they? You've trained them to see you as a safe, unlimited source of free emotional labor. They leave every conversation feeling lighter, while you leave feeling heavier. And tomorrow, they'll be back for more. Here's how to escape this trap without feeling like a terrible person. Number 1. Stop automatically answering every call or text. Just because someone is in crisis doesn't mean you have to drop everything. Number 2. Redirect the conversation. When someone starts venting, calmly say, "That sounds really hard. What are you going to do about it?" This subtly shifts responsibility back to them. Number 3. Set time limits. If you must listen, don't let it consume your entire evening. Say something like, "I can talk for 10 minutes, but then I need to get back to my work." At first, people will resist these changes. They may even accuse you of being selfish or cold. But that's because they're addicted to the old version of you, the version who always sacrificed their own peace for other people's chaos. Being kind doesn't mean being a human trash can for negativity. True kindness is helping others help themselves, not enabling their dysfunction while you silently drown. And now we've reached the final habit, one that looks like kindness on the surface, but quietly erodes your confidence and self-respect every single day. This is the silent killer of personal power, and almost everyone is guilty of it.
Habit number 5. Saying yes when you want to say no. This is the simplest habit on the list, and the most dangerous. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you're giving away a piece of your freedom. You think you're being kind. You don't want to upset anyone. But deep down, you feel resentful, exhausted, and invisible. Here's what really happens. When you can't say no, people stop seeing your yes as a gift. They see it as guaranteed. And instead of respecting you, they just expect more. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." When you say yes out of guilt or fear, you hand that power to someone else. The fix is simple but uncomfortable. Practice saying no without over-explaining. Stop giving excuses people can argue with. Remember, a clear no is far kinder than a resentful yes. The first few times, people might get angry. That's normal. They're reacting to losing control over you. But over time, they'll respect you more because you finally respect yourself. So let's recap. These 5 habits might look like kindness, but in reality, they're silent chains holding you back. 1. Chasing validation from people who don't value you. 2. Over-apologizing and shrinking yourself to keep the peace. 3. Giving endlessly without receiving anything in return. 4. Absorbing everyone's negativity by being their emotional dumping ground. 5. Saying yes when you want to say no, sacrificing your freedom for approval. Every single one of these habits has the same core problem. They teach the world how to treat you. When you allow them to continue, you're telling people, "My time, my energy, and my dignity aren't worth much." And people will believe you until you show them otherwise. Here's what happens when you break free. At first, some people will resist. They'll call you selfish, distant, or even cold. That's because they benefited from your old patterns. But the right people, the ones who truly care about you, will step up. They'll respect your boundaries, value your time, and appreciate your presence. And most importantly, you will finally respect yourself. The Stoics had it right all along. Self-respect isn't selfish. It's the foundation for every healthy relationship you'll ever have. If you don't value yourself, no one else will. So starting today, stop explaining, stop apologizing, and stop giving away your power. The moment you decide to protect your energy, you stop being a background character in everyone else's story, and you become the main character of your own. Ready to take that step? Subscribe to this channel right now.
Next week, I'll share 3 powerful phrases you can use to shut down boundary violators instantly without conflict or guilt. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 habits do you struggle with the most? Drop a comment below and share your experience. Your honesty might help someone else break free from the same trap. Remember, real kindness isn't about letting others drain you dry. It's about respecting yourself enough to set limits and inspiring others to do the same. Stop living like a doormat. Start living like someone who deserves respect.